Hey guys, thank you very much all for joining, and I'm doing this live stream Q&As again. So those who are joining, just ask any questions in the chat, in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. Obviously, the questions might be about immigration, about starting a business in the Czech Republic, about finding accommodation, health insurance, whatever. So whatever questions you might have, just type them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer those. So last time, which was on Monday, I believe, I did a live stream like this and I had 300 something views, which was like right during the live stream, which was amazing. So let's try to make it happen again. Hi Verinci, thank you very much for joining. And I assume you have some questions for me, so go ahead. Mohammed Idres, hello, hi Mohammed. Thank you all for joining, and I'm happy that you're already typing your questions in, so I'll start answering. Vince de Silva, hi Jan, does family long-term visa extend to siblings? No. As simple as that, no, it doesn't. It might in very specific situations. Let's say your sibling, I don't know, gets like some serious sickness and you have no parents and you are the only one who can take care of your sibling. Okay, maybe in that case, like you would have a chance or the sibling would have a chance, but normally no. Like family reunification only goes for spouses, kids, sometimes for parents, but it must be kind of a similar system as with your sibling. So your parents must be solitary, which means that you only have one parent. Either they are officially divorced or one of them is dead, and they need to be above some age limit or they need to have serious health trouble. Prabin Karel, hi sir, may I know after how many days I can get refusal letter from Delhi embassy? Well, it depends because you don't get it from the embassy. Actually, the embassy gets it from the Ministry of the Interior. So they usually send it to you as soon as they receive it from the ministry. But that can often take, if they let you know that the decision was made, it can be like 2 days delay. It can be like 5 weeks delay. You never know because the embassy is not the one who makes the decision. They only forward information from the Ministry of the Interior. So yeah. Walid Hassan, hi. Thank you for the live stream. How to start business here and how to report taxes if employed and having your own business at the same time. Good. That's a good question. So how to start business here? I'll start with that. It depends kind of on where are you from and what kind of visa or residence permit you are holding at the moment. So let's say you are a third country national, so say from Egypt or somewhere, and you already have an employee card because you mentioned that you would have both at the same time, employment and self-employment. So if you have an employee card and you're a non-EU citizen, then you first need to get a criminal check from the country of origin. I'll start with that because that's usually the most complicated part and that's what takes the most time. So I would start with that. And then you go to the trade license office. You have two types of businesses. You can set up a company and you can set up a trade license. The trade license makes most sense in the beginning for most people, unless you really want to grow a big business from the beginning or like you plan it as a company. So then maybe the company makes sense. But if you just want to do something on the side to your full-time job or you want to freelance, then yeah, sorry, I read something in Czech and it distracted me. Monika Černíková, and then she deleted the message. Okay. Anyway, so where I was about talking about the trade license. So the trade license is the easiest way, but still you need to get a criminal check. You would not need to get it only in some cases. If you were a student here under the 24, I believe, code, the 23 doesn't, the 24 does does not require the criminal check. So it depends on what kind of residence permit you had. If you had a permanent residency already, you also don't need to get the criminal check from the country of origin. But in most other cases, you have to get it. So I would start with that. Then you need to choose the trades you want to include into the trade license, the fields of business, and based on that, you might need some additional documents. If you choose some of the unqualified ones, then you just go to the trade license office, you submit these documents, you submit a proof of business address, and within a week you get the trade license, you can start freelancing. If you have an employment, like a full-time job, and you also have the trade license and you freelance on the side as a secondary activity, that's completely fine. But you will need to do your taxes at the end of the year, or actually like from the 1st of January till the last of March. And you need to kind of combine your income from employment and self-employment. So it's always best to hire an accountant to deal with that. Second thing is that you most likely will not have to pay the monthly deposits for the trade license the first year. And then based on your real income in March, they might change that for the next year. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted in the half of the speech or the answer, because I saw some check which was very unexpected. So yeah, so back Abdul, Mateen, Hesky, thank you for joining. Azer Gasimov, hi Jan, I work for an agency almost 5 months. After 6 months I want to resign. Can I change to another agency, or I must work only for company? Yeah, your new employer, if you're changing an employer, your new employer cannot be an agency. And you cannot even be like a core employee of the agency. So you definitely cannot be an employee. They will be sent in somewhere else, but you cannot be even their own employee. Like even if you wanted to be a director of the agency, you could not do that. Your new employer cannot be an agency. So you need to find a different company. Anyway, I don't know why would you like to stick to an agency, because usually agencies, of course, they might have different jobs for you, all that. I understand that. But usually agencies don't pay you that much as if the company hired you directly, and there are also a bit different rules, and they might behave differently to you, at least like from my experience and in my opinion. So I would not be too worried about that, but you cannot switch to an agency. Pravin Karel, after how many days can I apply again? Well, there is no really a limitation. You generally have 15 days to appeal. So I would wait for that. And after the 15 days, if you don't appeal, then the decision will become valid, legal, and you can apply again. But it depends on the reasons why you got denied. If you got denied because you faked some documents, or because you're internationally wanted terrorist or something like that, probably makes no sense to apply again, because you will be denied again. But if it was just some problem with the documents, or just some mistake you made, you can try again easily. Maybe I would just consider hiring someone who will help you with that, so you don't it doesn't happen again. Virinci, of course, I expected a question from you, so thank you. My question might not be related, but if you can, then answer please. If we plant a child in the future in Czechia, then will the child get Czech nationality, and will we become EU family members? No and no. Easy. Easy answers. Now, kids born in the Czech Republic don't get, if you get born in the Czech Republic, you don't automatically get Czech citizenship. You can get the Czech citizenship if one of your parents is Czech. So if you find a Czech wife and then you have kids together, then yes, the kids would be Czech. But if you're both Indian, or if you're both non-EU, or even EU, if you're both non-Czech, then the kid doesn't get citizenship, Czech citizenship, just because it was, or she or he was born in the Czech Republic. And hence, also you will not change anything about your status. Actually, it works the way that when the child is born, you have to apply for the same type of residence permit as you have for the child within 60 days. Otherwise, even your residence permits could be cancelled because you didn't follow the law and the rules. So be careful. When the child is born, within 60 days, you have to apply for the same type of visa or residence permit you have. So if you have a long-term residence permit, you apply for the child for the long-term residence permit. If you had just a long-term visa, then you would apply for a long-term visa for the child. If you had a permanent residency, then you would apply directly for a permanent residency for the child. Okay, next. Dexter June Ortega. Hello, sir. I have a question about my TRC. July 8, 2024 is my expiration. When is the right time to renew? Give me ideas, sir. Thank you. Well, I would need to know a bit more, like what's expiring and what's your situation. But generally speaking, you can apply for extensions 90 or 120 days in advance. In most cases, it's always at least 90. In some cases, it's 120. So let's say 90 days. So that would be July, June, May, April. So like middle of April. I would definitely recommend that, because even if it was approved the next day, you still need to go through the biometrics, which will take another 2 months. So definitely like mid-April is completely fine. So now the Czech message. Magistra Monika Černíková. Hezký večer, Jane, prosím o radu. V pondělí jsem se vdala v Abu Dhabi. Můj manžel žádal v srpnu o studijní vízum, protože včera studuje dálkové střední školu. Vízum bylo zamítnuto, odvolali jsme se. Okay, guys, this is a question in Czech, so I will read it in Czech so I understand it, then I will translate it into English, then I will probably answer in Czech, and then I will probably translate it to English again. So just a second. V Abu Dhabi. Nyní, když jsme již manželé, tak chceme žádat od krátkodobé vízum za účelem podání žádosti o přechodný pobyt. Odací list nám zítra Okay, I don't see a question there. Moniko, já tam nevidím úplně otázku žádnou, možná je tam ještě někde dál. Můj manžel pracuje v Abu Dhabi a je Maročan. Nevidím tam otázku, ale nějak se k tomu vyjádřím. So there seems to be no question. But I will explain anyway. The question is that she's Czech and she got married in Abu Dhabi to a Moroccan guy. So like, what do I think about the situation? How would I approach it? So I'll answer in Czech, then I'll translate briefly, and then I will continue with the rest of your questions in English. No, ono v tomhletom případě je popravdě těžký poradit, jo, protože ve chvíli, kdy manžel je Maročan, vy jste Češka, už to bude trošku podezřelý a pracuje v Abu Dhabi, to těžko říct, jestli může být jako výhoda nebo nevýhoda. Každopádně oficiálně by to mělo být v pohodě a měli byste dostat krátkodobý vízum. Možná je dokonce i výhoda, že bude třeba žádat v tom Abu Dhabi, protože v Maroku je možný, že by mu to vízum nikdy nevydali, protože ono bohužel jako z těchto zemí často jsou jako fakeový manželství, takže oni třeba v těch zemích, jako je Maroko, Egypt, Alžírsko, tak tam ani ty krátkodobý víza už třeba nevydávají ani manželům. To znamená, tam by se mohlo stát, že to vízum krátkodobý ani nedostanete, to znamená, že manžel sem nikdy nepřijede, ale když bude žádat třeba v Abu Dhabi, tak by to mohlo být jednodušší. Takže jako jinak to stejně neuděláte, on sem potřebuje přijet na krátkodobý vízum a pak podáte žádost o přechodný pobyt, takže to je určitě správný postup, otázka, jak to bude jednoduchý. Yeah, guys, so the question was, or she's Czech, he's from Morocco, living in Abu Dhabi, what should be the next steps to get him here? So what I was saying is that in some countries, or if you're a Czech and you marry someone from countries like Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, then often the Czech embassy will not even give your spouse the short-term visa to be able to come to the Czech Republic and apply for the temporary residency as a family member of a new citizen, because there have been many like fake marriages and the Czech embassies often do not even issue the short-term visas. So yeah, there is no other way really than that. This is the best way to get the short-term visa and then switch to the temporary residency after. But the question is, how realistic is it to happen? So back to questions in English. Walid Hassan. Also, what are the application requirements for long-term visa residency for a family member who is elder than 65 years? So it depends on who's the family member. If it's your wife, then it's okay. If it's your mother or father, then it might be okay, but only in case they are solitary. So if you have both parents, they're both alive, they're both married, then it doesn't matter how old they are. They officially cannot apply for the family reunification. Only solitary parents can. Mohammed Nurul Alam, appreciate for all the valuable information. I have a question about purchasing old car. If you give me permission, I can ask my question here. Of course, permission granted. Permission granted. Mohammed, please go ahead and ask. Frederick Ismail Oba. Oba, sorry. Oba. Yeah, hi Jan, how are you? My question is, with Germany PR as a family member of EU spouse, when come to CZ and get CZ PR, is it possible to apply for, I guess, example, Czech citizenship? How long to stay and be qualified? Well, generally speaking, you can qualify for Czech citizenship after 10 years of living here, or after 5 years of having the permanent residency. So technically you could apply after 5 years. If you immediately get a permanent residency in the Czech Republic, then you could potentially apply after 5 years. But I don't think you will immediately get a permanent residency if you move here, even if you have a permanent residency in Germany. So I would expect more. Yeah, I would expect more. Generally, it's 10 years. There might be some exceptions, but well, the Czech citizenship is you need to be well integrated into Czech society. You need to be like established here. You need to have some background here, like own a house, run a company, have a family here. So like anyway, longer you live here, the higher the chances that you will get the citizenship. Relaxing music therapy. Hey Jan. Hey, relaxing music. Yeah. Okay, so here's a question. Okay. Relaxing music therapy. How is the housing market in March? Are there many properties available to rent? Also, I believe you guys help with the housing. What is the consultation fee like? Thanks in advance. Good question. Yeah. Well, generally speaking, the situation is the same during the whole year. There is way more people looking for apartments than people or than available apartments. This gets worse close to September. So August, September, October, that's the highest season. Maybe even July, because that's when most of the students come here, most of the families with kids starting schools come here. So it kind of is the same as the immigration season. It's also the highest in these months, like August, September, October, maybe July, starting in the housing sector. So those are definitely the most difficult on one hand, because there is so many people applying and moving here and want an apartment, so the flats go like this. On the other hand, many people also like move out because they finish their schools or they finish their jobs. The family wants to move somewhere else, like for a new school year, like a new country or something. So there is also plenty of available apartments. So I would now say that there are enough, like in May, there are enough apartments, and the competition is not that high, but it's still is difficult because there is still more people wanting apartments than apartments. So definitely better, in my opinion, to look now than July, August, September, October, but it still might not be easy. And as for our services, we basically have two options. We have one which we call counseling, where we contact landlords of the flats you find yourself. So you look and you like something, you send us a link or you send us details of the landlord or the agent, whatever we call them. We arrange viewings for you. We arrange all the like lease agreements, check it. We help you take over the apartment once the lease agreement is signed. And you do kind of like the search yourself, and we do the other parts. Then we have an active search option where we do the whole thing. So we also search for you, among like our partners, private landlords, and real estate agents. So basically everything what is available on the market, we can contact and we can help you rent. The rest is the same. Like we arrange appointments for you, we check the contract, we make sure it's all right. We take over the apartment with you. So that's all the same. The difference is if we search for you or if you search yourself. Thank you for the question. Mohammed Nurul Alam. One more question. I have applied to extension of my wife residence permit with 2 years of comprehensive insurance. Now the ministry asked me to provide more 3 years insurance if I want for 5 years. I don't know exactly what you mean. Maybe I would need to go back to the previous message because there have been so many messages. Because you can only get 5 years residence permit if you're married to an EU citizen. So if you're a family member of an EU citizen, you can get 5 years residence permit. But if you're married to an EU citizen, you don't need 5 years of health insurance to get a 5 years residence permit. So it's kind of weird that they would be requesting 5 years. I cannot imagine a situation where you would be getting 5 years of residence permit for your wife, where you would need insurance. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, if you want to tell me more here, good. If you want to get in touch via email, just fill in the form. And if it's not in this because this is live stream, but if you go to any of my older videos, there should be a link to a form which you can fill in and then we can talk. Because honestly, this doesn't make a sense to me that you provided 3 years of insurance and they need like 5 years of insurance, because I cannot imagine the type of residence permit you would be applying for 5 years. Walid Hassan, are there any flats owned sold by government in installments? I have not seen anything like that, honestly. Usually how it works when the government sells something, or the state or the city, it's the way that they have like two days of open door where you can go and see the property, and then you send them a bid, like for how much you would like to buy it, and then they choose the highest bidder and they sell it to them. And then you need to pay usually like right away, or whatever are the conditions of the selling, whatever. So I don't think you can buy in installments. Question is if you can get a mortgage. That I don't know. I would need to double check that, or if you get in touch, I will be happy to connect you to the mortgage guy. We did a big live stream at the main Move to Prague channel 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if you could get a mortgage, so you would pay in monthly installments, but I don't think I've heard of like governmental flats being sold like in installments. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but I haven't heard of it. Johar Ali, or Johar, sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Hi sir, I came this country before 5 months. My agency is offered a lot of benefits, but unfortunately they are not given anything. What should I do? Well, after 6 months, you can find a new job and leave and report the change of job to the Ministry of the Interior, then you can leave them. So if you've been here for 5 months, then you have 1 month to go. So start looking for a job. If you find a new job which is willing to like sponsor you or help you with the change, do that, leave, give your notice, 2 months notice, and you can switch jobs. It's a bit delicate process, so get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help you with that. But if you've been here for 5 months, that's fine, because you only have 1 more month to stay with them and then you can leave. Monika Černíková, moc vám, Jane, děkujeme za odpověď. Rádo se stalo, doufám, že to pomohlo. Bohužel to nebyly asi úplně dobrý zprávy, ale jiná varianta prostě asi není, no, než to zkusit přetlačit. Tak držím palce, ať to dobře dopadne. Nebo ať to dobře dopadne, ale ať si to dobře zařídíte. Mohammed Nurul Alam, I have brought a car from Auto ESA. I used to work there for 3 years or so. Yeah, we started Move to Prague with Daria 12 years ago. Maybe 13 now already. 12, yeah. Anyway. And in the beginning, it was kind of like guys, for those of you, okay, so maybe some of you don't know me like in person or don't know the story. So the whole story is that me and Daria set up a company called Move to Prague Relocation Services, and we employ a couple people, and we help as a company foreigners with everything you need when you're moving to the Czech Republic. So all types of visas, from employee cards, blue cards, student visas, family reunification, partnership visa, whatever, business visa, živno visa, all that. Through finding accommodation. So if you need a flat, we can help with that. Getting health insurance, basically everything under one roof. So like one-stop shop. And we started the company 12 years ago. There is some story behind that because Daria is a foreigner herself. And so there were many like pieces that went together. But we, for example, saw that the ministry lost her documents and they didn't care, and the real estate agents were pretty bad back then, and we wanted people to have better experience than that if they're moving to the Czech Republic. So we didn't want them to be scammed the first thing they do in the Czech Republic. We didn't want them to like cry when they run from the Ministry of the Interior because no one spoke Czech or English with them. Plus, Daria started speaking Czech amazingly swiftly. Like after 6 months, she was basically fluent. She speaks Chinese and all the other languages. So she's like really, really like when she says like, I will learn this, she will. So she started speaking Czech very well after 6 months of living here. So also at that time, the schoolmates started to ask her if she could accompany them to the ministry or somewhere. So we started with the idea to help people and to really like make it easier and more pleasurable, nicer for people who are moving to the Czech Republic. So that's basically how we started. But we in the beginning didn't see it as a business. We just wanted to help, and we didn't even know if that would be of interest, if people would want such kind of help or service or whatever. So we just created our first website. We wrote it based on some books because it was 12 years ago. So there was no like WordPress templates or anything. You had to write the website yourself, or at least in the Czech Republic. So we did that, and we got our first client. I still remember his name, Juan Carlos de la Garza de la Torre, a Mexican guy who needed help to find accommodation. And that was our first client. We helped him, and then we saw that it might be actually something people would appreciate. And that's how we started. So the first couple of years, it was just a part-time thing to our full-time jobs, or Daria was studying. So yeah, and that's why I started, is that at that time, I was working at AutoESA as a full-time employee, but it worked the way that I worked 1 week. I worked Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's so-called long week. And then the other week it was only like Wednesday and Thursday. So the rest of the week was free, and I was working only on Wednesday and Thursday. So that gave me enough time to work on this. And yeah, here we are. Now we have a couple employees, and we've helped like 17,000 people now. So yeah, but sorry that this whole long story was just because of the AutoESA, because I used to work there at the time when we were starting with Move to Prague. Yeah, so during driving, my car has stopped the engine and no more start. I have contacted with them about the situation and they denied my complaint. Yeah, well, honestly speaking, I guess I cannot talk specifically about AutoESA, and especially because I don't know anything about your situation. But generally speaking, all the auto bazaars or car bazaars in the Czech Republic have their contracts. When you buy the car, you sign a contract, and the contracts basically say that you cannot complain about anything because they are used cars. So even if they check it, even if they like give you the description of what is wrong, what's not wrong, there might be something they have missed or something. So they all have, not only AutoESA but Triple A's or any other auto bazaar. It's all the same. They all have contracts which you basically cannot you can try to sue them, you can try to hire a lawyer, and you can try to like make them repair the car or take it back or do something. But they sell plenty of cars. They have this like definitely insured in the contract. So yeah, will be probably cheaper just to try to repair it somehow than to fight with them. Do you speak Czech? Vontes winner? Yeah, I'm Czech, so I believe my Czech is pretty sufficient. Kdybyste chtěl slyšet něco česky, tak samozřejmě můžeme ten livestream udělat i v češtině. Mluvím česky. Okay, Mohammed Nurul Alam, I drive about 2,100 kilometers after purchasing during last 3 months. The car has driven 121. Is there any comment for me in this situation? What is the next steps? I have sent an email, but they said it's not their responsibility. Yeah, so I talked about this now. I unfortunately don't think you will be able to do anything or much about that. Look at what you signed. Definitely, I think it was only in Czech, so you probably don't even know what you signed. But if you read it carefully, if you get it translated, then you will see that you basically agreed that the car is a piece of shit. Sorry, YouTube will probably block me for that. That it's a piece of crap, and that you cannot like claim anything. So you can try again everything I mentioned before. Yeah. Is the student visa a long-term visa? Well, it depends, man. There are 3 types of like permissions to live in the Czech Republic, let's say, or more, but the 3 main: short-term visa, that can be a student visa, but that only applies for stays under 90 days. So if you come here just for a course, like for a TEFL course, maybe for 1 month, 5 weeks or something, sorry, then you can get a short-term visa, and that will be a student visa. You can get a long-term visa for the purpose of studies. If you study an accredited program, you can get a long-term visa, or you can get a long-term residence permit for the purpose of studies. So the student visa can be anything: short-term visa, long-term residence permit. Mohammed Aswar, hi sir. Hi Mohammed, thank you for joining. Chandra Shekhar Sonbarsa, my residence permit expires on May 30th and my health insurance ends on October 17th. So my question is, should I get health insurance from October to May? I'm in family reunification. Yeah, whatever. If you already have a valid insurance and you need to buy longer, let's say for another 2 years, because you want to get the residence permit for 2 years, then you can start the insurance from when the previous one expires. So if this one expires in October, then you can get one from 18th of October until 2 years later in May, or for however long you want to get the residence permit. I believe the MOI will only grant a residence permit for 1 year. It depends on what has your spouse. For example, for blue card holders, now the blue card validity can be up to 3 years, and also the family reunification can be up to 3 years. For any other, it can be up to 2 years, depending on the residence permit of the main applicant. So if your spouse is a student here, then most likely you will get just 1 year, because she or he can only get 1 year of the student residence permit as well. But if she or he has like an employee card or blue card, you can definitely get it longer. Nejat Isler, I'm definitely mispronouncing. Dobrý večer, učím se česky. Super. A jak to jde zatím? Je čeština jednoduchá pro vás nebo těžká? Pro mě docela v pohodě. Jeff Santos. Hi, if we will renew the long-term residence permit of my wife and daughter for 2 years, the insurance should need be for 2 years, or we could buy for 1 year first and buy another. No, you always need to have insurance covering the whole expected period of stay. So if you want to get residence permit for 2 years, you need to get health insurance for 2 years. What you can do is that you now buy for 1 year, and then, for example, next month you buy the next year. So like if you don't have 40,000 crowns or whatever is the insurance for 2 years now, but you have 20 now for 1 year, and next month after your payday you will have another 20 to buy the rest. You can do that as long as the application is still in process. Once the ministry approves that, it's kind of late to send them some additional documents. It's still possible, but it's better to give it to them before they make the decision. Chris Otieno, hi Jan. Is it true that for a work visa you must show some proof of funds before visa can be approved? It depends on what you mean by work visa. I get the question a lot, and when I ask about that, then I never hear from the people. So it depends. If you mean employee card or a blue card, like employment type of visa, then you don't need to prove any funds because your income is proved by the employment contract. If you're applying for a work visa and you mean like the Živno visa or the business visa, you mean by the work visa, then yes, you need to show 160,000 crowns. So it depends on what you mean exactly. Amir Gaming AF, hello sir, I'm new here. Thank you very much for joining if you've subscribed. And welcome. So Sons of Nature, yesterday police fined me 1,000 crowns Czech because I have not stamped ticket, very bad experience. Well, why didn't you have a ticket? If you would have had ticket, they wouldn't fine you. But yeah, anyway. Welcome to the Czech Republic. Subhash, hello sir. Hi Subhash. Mohamed Aswar. If an employee from Czech requests the embassy of third national citizen, will the embassy definitely approve the visa? If an employer from Czech requests the embassy, well, never, nothing is never for sure with the Czech immigration. So the fact that the company is maybe part of the program, the governmental program, so they get an appointment for you directly. You don't need to apply for an appointment. It's definitely safer and better because the company has been proven probably a couple times before. So there will be no problems on the side of the company. But there still might be problems with on the side of yours. Like if you, for example, provide a criminal check and you have some record there, you made some, you did some crime or something, you did some time, then they might still deny it. So it depends. Of course, you have higher chances if the employer is part of the program, but it can still be denied. Amir Gaming NF, sir, how can I come to Czech Republic from Afghanistan? Well, honestly, well, I would need to see if there are quotas. I don't remember. There are probably quotas for employee cards. So I think the only reasonable option might be studies. If you really want to study and you have some motivation to study in the Czech Republic, like you've compared universities in the whole of Europe and Czech came the best for whatever reason, then maybe, unfortunately, other than that, might be pretty difficult. Subhash, do you provide English to Czech translation service? We do, like not inside, because if you need the translations for immigration purposes or some official purposes, that must be a court approved translator with a special round stamp and all these like Czech color ribbons or all that. So we don't do it in-house, but we work with an agency which does all the languages that someone can translate. They do that. So we can do that. We primarily do it for our own clients. So if you do a visa with us, then we also take care of the translation. If you just need a translation, we can do that as well, but it's kind of, there is not that like advantage, I would say. If you do the visa process with us, for example, the whole, like you want to get your wife here or your husband here, and we take care of the family reunification, then we take care of the translations as well, which means that it saves you time, saves you the energy, and you just bring the documents to our office, we get it translated, everything. So it's easier. If you just need to get the translation done, of course it will be a bit easier for you as well, but it's always like we usually do it for clients who do other services with us as well. Sounds of Nature, my passport validity is till March 25, and so I have to extend visa in September. Is there any problem, or I have to review passport from back my home country? It depends on what you will be applying for. If you would be applying for extension of visa, that could be a problem, because you could not get the visa extended past December of this year, because your passport must be valid for at least 3 months after your visa expires. If you're applying for a residence permit, then it does not really matter. But you anyway need to have a valid passport when you're submitting the application. And when we, sorry, there is another Czech. Comment. So, or like a Czech. I'll get there. Sorry, I got distracted again. Bamboozled again. Anyway, so you need to have a valid passport when you're submitting the application, and then when you're picking up, when you're doing the biometrics, all that. So depends, the timing might be pretty important of when you get the new passport, but for a residence permit, the validity of the passport does not really influence the validity. For a long-term visa, it does. It can shorten it. Chandra Shekhar Sonbarsa. My wife's work permit is still September 2025. Then you as a dependent are always tied to your wife. So you will either get the residence permit until September 2025 or for 1 year. If, let's say, September 2025 is less than 1 year, you will anyway get it for 1 year. If September 2025 is more than 1 year, then you will get it for more than 1 year until the September 2025. Děda hraje, can you pronounce my name? Of course I can pronounce your name. Děda hraje, já mluvím česky, takže úplně s tím nemám problém. Nevím, co děda hraje teda, jo? Co přesně děda hraje? The name here, he asked me to pronounce the name, and it basically means grandpa is playing. So I'm asking what the grandpa is playing. That's intriguing. Chris Otieno, thank you, my pleasure. M. Faisal from Dubai. Hello to Dubai. How's the weather there? Hot as always. Amiri Gaming AF, I have done my bachelor degree in agriculture, so can you guide me to apply from master degree program? Are there any insurance that we can pay on installment basis like monthly or quarterly? Thanks. We can help you basically with all the immigration steps. We don't really help with finding jobs. We don't really help with finding schools because it has a couple reasons. So I will not go into that, why we don't do that. We just don't do that. But once you find the program you want to study, we can help you make that happen. And we can help you with the whole immigration process, extensions, all that. That's for sure. As for the insurance, first of all, now the insurance is not that expensive. If you're a student, you can get insurance for like 15,000 crowns a year, which is like half of what you would have paid to PVZP. So now it's actually not that bad. Technically speaking, you can request to pay in installments, but I've never seen it happen in real life. Okay, PVZP maybe did it for like 7 people in 2 years or something. So yeah, I try to get some official statistics, but they present it, or they don't present it anywhere. Second, they can potentially offer it. Third, they don't really do it. So I would not count with that much. Plus, not sure what they would be able to provide you with, and if it would be enough for the Ministry of the Interior. So I would definitely recommend paying everything at once. Subhash, hello sir, I'm student from India, applied to university in Czechia. I don't like Czechia, the name. Anyway, for police clearance certificate, do I need to get it from the government in India or from the government of Czech Republic? If you're from India, you need to get it from India. You always need to get a criminal check from the country of origin. And it needs to be apostilled or super legalized depending on the country. So in your case, it must be apostilled and then officially translated into Czech. No older than 6 months or 180 days. Chandra Shekhar Sonbarsa, okay, I will get in touch with you for insurance. Thank you, my pleasure. We work with 6 insurance companies and we get the best prices from them. So get in touch. I'll be happy to send you quotes and we'll get it sorted. Mohammed Aswar, our work permit and accommodation proof are starting from 1st of January to 30th of March, but we have applied on 12/2 in the VFS. In this case, we have reversed the ticket and insurance from verse 3, 29.4, it means 90 days of seasonal employment. So do we to give the accommodation proof for the rest days after finishing the work permit validation? Well, first of all, or two things here. We don't really deal with short-term visas because that's for visits, that's for like just sightseeing, but it's not relocation. And we do primarily relocation, so people move in here. If you come here under the seasonal visa, you cannot really extend it. The maximum is 9 months, but that's only possible to extend if you come here under a long-term visa, the seasonal employment. If you come here under the short-term visa, you cannot stay more than 90 days, so you will need to leave anyway. You cannot switch to anything else, basically. So we don't do short-term visas much. So that's one thing. Second thing, the whole seasonal visa is, in my opinion, the biggest scam there is. And the most scammers, they operate with the seasonal work permit or work visa, seasonal employment, whatever. Because honestly, I will ask you a question. Maybe I don't know, and maybe it's worth it. But tell me, will you even make more money during the 2 months you spend here than you paid for like everything to get you the employment contract, get the flight tickets, get the insurance, all that? Like, I honestly don't think that people will make money if they come here under the seasonal work, seasonal employment visa, whatever is the duration. Maybe if you come here for 9 months, maybe, but I cannot imagine that it would be like a way to earn money. And I would say that most people, or like many agencies or agents in India and other countries here as well, tell you like, yeah, you can come to the Czech Republic using the seasonal visa, then you switch to something else, you find a different job and you switch to an employee card. That's not possible, guys. So that's just either they tell it to you to scam you on purpose, or they tell it to you and they don't know that it's not possible. Not sure which is worse, but it's not possible to switch from a seasonal work visa to anything else. The only option now, which is very fresh from last September, I guess, so like 5 months, you can switch to a blue card. But to switch to a blue card, you need to have a salary of at least 1.5 of a national average, so it's like 65,000 crowns now, and you need to have at least bachelor's degree. And if you come here to do seasonal work, I cannot really imagine that you would get a job which will pay you 70,000 crowns and that you came here with your bachelor's degree. So realistically speaking, you cannot switch to anything. So you will always need to leave the Czech Republic, and then you have to apply for something else. So be very careful, guys, with all the seasonal visa, seasonal work permits and everything, because I've seen so many people get just like, you pay someone, they get you the documents, but you never use the documents, and even if you use it, then you have to leave and you cannot stay. So in my opinion, it's just not worth it. Prove me wrong. I'll be happy to hear some like positive outcome stories. Subhash, is ELTS mandatory for students from India to get Czech student visa? I've heard that the embassy rejects application if you don't have ELTS score, or might deport after arriving there. Is that true? As the student visa interview questions very tough, do they ask about internal affairs in Czech Republic? A lot of questions to cover. Okay, guys, it's almost 50 minutes and there is still 25 of you watching, so thank you very much. I think this has been a good live stream, so thank you. Well, ELTS, there have been changes in the student visa and the student regime. I don't think you need to have like any certification that you speak English. There are some new rules that they need to test you kind of at the embassy. So you definitely need to speak English. And if you go, like, imagine you enrolled into an English program of a university, and then you go to the embassy and you don't speak a word of English, or you speak very bad English. That's kind of obvious that you don't really want to study here in English if you don't speak English, but you're just trying to get the visa and like fake the application. So they should test you, like that you speak really at least sufficiently to study. There have been some other changes as well, but I don't think that the requirement is there that you must have this. I would need to double check though, because I'm not sure about that 100%. As for the interview, yes, the questions can be pretty tough, but again, there is always someone who like opposes what I say, and that's fine, because the Czech immigration is not like a standard thing that like everything is the same for everyone. So I've seen people from India who never had any interview, okay, students, which is very weird, but it can happen. I've seen people who spent like hours at the embassy. I've seen people who had multiple interviews. They had like 2 interviews. Sometimes I believe a record was like 17 interviews or something. The guy needed to go to the embassy like 17 times. Different cases, like different things required. So it can go like all the different ways. But yes, the ministry is questioning your motivation, and especially I think it will be even worse or more now, because what the ministry have seen, and we hear it often here as well, is that you come here as a student, and immediately after arrival you find a job and you switch to an employee card. And that might sound fine for you, and that's like, it is technically fine and it's possible, but for the ministry it means that you never wanted to study and you just wanted to get a visa so you can find a job here. And that kind of goes against the quotas which are at the embassy. That's only X amount of people can apply yearly for employment type of visa or the employee card. So they will be making the rules even stricter for students, so you don't abuse the system this way. So yes, if you have an interview, then it might be pretty tough. They don't ask about, usually they don't ask about political situation in the Czech Republic, anything like that. They want to see that you really want to study in the Czech Republic. So they question your motivation, why you chose this program, why you chose this university, what you will be doing after you finish the studies, if you stay here, go back, why you don't study somewhere else, in some other country, some other program. They will test you how much you know about the program, so where the school is located, what exactly you will be studying, what are the teachers who you will have, all these kind of things. So it can get pretty intense. Advertisement time. Move to Prague. Relocation experts and your first friend in Prague. Anyway. Victor, hey, I want to move to Prague. I have Romanian citizenship. What should I firstly do so I can obtain a residence permit in the future in the Czech Republic? Also, as an EU citizen, is it necessary to leave as registered, to have a registered business in Czech Republic so I can take a mortgage there, or it can be registered in another country? Okay, so there is a lot to cover, Victor. First of all, if you are an EU citizen, you don't really need to do anything to move to the Czech Republic. So you just pack your things, come tomorrow, and you can start living here, no problems. You can get a local job, you can start your own business. You don't need to do anything, you can study, you can do whatever you want. The only official obligation for you is to get registered with the foreign police within the first 30 days. If you stay in a hotel, hostel, whatever, they do it on your behalf, so you don't need to worry about that either. So there is no limitation, you can just like come here. The most complicated part usually is securing a housing, securing accommodation, long-term rental. So that's something you should definitely think about. So maybe book 3-4 weeks in a hotel or hostel or like Airbnb or somewhere, and then start looking for accommodation when you're actually here, because finding accommodation from Romania might not be easy and definitely not recommended for many reasons. So that's the only thing. If you of course want to get some the registration certificates, like some official confirmation that you live in the Czech Republic, that's fine, you can do it, but as of now it's not mandatory. As for the mortgage, get in touch and I will connect you with the guy, because we did a big live stream Q&As about mortgages in the Czech Republic just 2 weeks ago at the Move to Prague. You see, Move to Prague. main channel. So if you are here on YouTube, just like search for Move to Prague relocation experts or relocation services. And the last live stream we did, the last recording, is with a mortgage expert who sold like I don't know how many properties. So, and we were answering questions about mortgages, and this was one of the questions. So we go deeper into the topic there. So watch that video on Move to Prague channel, and also you can get in touch, and I will be happy to connect you, and you can discuss that. Generally speaking, the best scenario is that you have a local job, like employment. In that case, it's pretty simple to get a mortgage. Of course, depends on like how high is your salary and how expensive is the flat you want to buy, how much you pay the down payment, all that. But generally, it's the easiest way. Second easiest is to get a business, like get a trade license and do your yearly tax return and prove your income this way. That's possible as well. You just need to be more careful how you do your taxes, how much it actually shows that you made. But also possible. It's technically possible to get a mortgage here even if you don't have income from the Czech Republic. The guy, the expert we had at the live stream, the Q&As, he did that a couple times, but it's always way more complicated. And again, also depends on how high will be the deposit you make, the first payment, all that. So if you want to know details about that, get in touch. I'll be happy to connect you. Generally speaking, the best would be having a local job. Second, having a local business. Third, not having anything local and trying to use your foreign income. Subhash, I can speak a very good English. Anyways, thank you for the information. You're welcome. Ramesh Tapa, I lost A2 school certificate. How to get for permanent residency? You lost it? So you passed the exam A2 and then you lost the certificate. If that's the case, then just contact the school where you did it. And I believe they should be able to like issue like a new original or a copy of that. If that was the question. Subhash, can you tell me about the MAIS scholarship for Indian students and how and when to avail it? I have no idea what it means. I don't know what means like MAIS. So probably I cannot give you much information about that. Mir, hello Chad, hello Mr. Jan, hello Mir. Charles Ronnie, keep up the good work. Will do, sir. Victor, thank you so much. I would take a look. Perfect. So again, Move to Prague, Relocation Experts, the main channel. You will see this logo there. It's the last live stream recording. We did it like 2 weeks ago. Ramesh Tapa, yes. Yeah, okay. So I think just get in touch with the school and they should be able to reissue the certificate. If you pass the exam, they should have a record of that. Oh, so guys, I will wrap it up. It's almost 1 hour. So at the 1 hour mark, I'll just leave. But Mir has a question. Mr. Jan, I have 2 questions. Can I change my visa from student visa to work visa if I get a job? I just talked about it 5 minutes ago. You can do it, but don't do it because you mess it up to everyone else who will be coming after you as a student. Ministry doesn't like it. Anyway, you can do it. Also, if I get accepted in a uni, do I have to have accommodation arranged? If yes, for how many months? If you get accepted into university and you want to get a visa or residence permit based on that, you generally should have the accommodation arranged for the whole period of your studies. So if you want to study from September till September, then you should have accommodation from September till September. It depends on what you apply for, but if you apply for a long-term visa and you only have accommodation for half of the school year, you will only get a visa for half of the school year, which kind of sucks because then you need to reapply very often. So accommodation covering the whole stay, ideally, or the validity of the expected like visa or residence permit, in case of students, generally means 1 year. So I guess the last question will be from Mohammed Nurul Alam. Could you suggest some comprehensive insurance, cheapest one, please? Get in touch. and I will be happy to send you 6 different offers because we work with 6 different companies, because it depends on your age and on the fact if you're a student or not. So generally students and people below 30 can get insurance for like 15,000 crowns a year. If you were above 65 or 70, I believe that can go from 60,000 to like 150,000. So it depends mainly on your age and if you're a student or not. So just go to any other of my videos, some of the older ones, and there is always a link to a form which you can fill in. Just fill in your details and I'll be happy to get back to you with the quotes. Subhash, for the complete visa process, how much do you charge including tax? It depends on the visa process. We have different, because into different visa processes that goes like a different amount of work, different amount of experience, different amount of planning. So it's a bit different for every type. It's different for visa or like a long-term visa. It's different for a residence permit, and then it depends if it's a student residence permit, if it's an employee card, all that. So if you want to get a concrete pricing, please get in touch using the form ideally again, and explain your situation, what exactly you would be applying for, and I'll be happy to send you the pricing for that, including tax. So the last question, guys, Mohammed Aswar, the last question. Mohammed Aswar, sir, please send me your email address to send email communication between employer from Czech and Embassy of Czech Republic in New Delhi. Again, please ideally go to any of my old videos, and there is always a link to a form which you can fill in, and I'll be happy to like get in touch and see what we can do. Okay. Chimney Kirtane, that's you haven't been here, you're new, so I will answer that as well, but then I'm going. It's like 1 hour of a live stream and it's 11 o'clock at night, so I want to go home. Do you support extension of long-term residence permit for blue card dependents? Of course, we can take care of the first applications for blue card and dependents. We can take care of the extensions. If you get to the point you get the permanent residence permit, which for you is easier because you can get the blue card for 3 years. So you just extend it once and you can apply for PR directly. Then of course, yeah, we can help with that. So just get in touch, fill in the form in the description of basically all of the videos besides this one and maybe the previous one, and I'll be happy to send you the pricing. And you can hear I cannot even speak. It's been 1 hour of talking. So thank you very much, guys, all for joining. It's been a good live stream. A lot of people here, constantly around 20-25 people, which is amazing. So thank you, guys. Good night, or good whatever is ahead of you, wherever you are. In the Czech Republic, it's good night. It's 11 o'clock now in the evening. So thank you, and see you again Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. I today met with a client and he said this is his favorite quote and that he will steal it from me when he starts his own channel about something. So I gave him the permission, but if any of you want to use that, please ask for my permission as well. So Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Good night, guys. See you. Bye-bye.